Welcome back everyone to Redstone with Ripper, and today we are going to be going over something that was probably really heavily emphasized back in the earlier days of Redstone, but has kind of fallen out of fashion, and that is logic gates, or at least the basic logic gates, which you see in front of you. We're just going to be pretty much going over mostly basic logic gates, not getting too in depth, so it's going to be a bit easier than the last couple of episodes, I'll admit. But I thought it should be covered pretty much. I thought it would be an essential part to cover. And also I'm going to try and keep this episode a bit shorter because I feel they've been getting a bit long lately. So hopefully a quick short episode, and let's get straight into it. So what exactly is a logic gate, you may ask? Well, it's a fairly general term. There are a lot of different types of logic gates. But basically a logic gate is something you have one or more inputs. Yeah, that's right. You can also have one or more outputs, but there's usually just one output generally. And the logic gate pretty much goes in the middle. And the logic gate alters the signal dependent on what inputs you put into it. So depending on how many inputs you got turned on or how many inputs you got turned off or whatever, the logic gate takes the information and processes it to usually one output, although you can have more than one output. But the ones we're going to deal with today just have the one output, so we'll just deal with that. So our very, very first logic gate here is literally the most basic logic gate you can get. And if you're a fan of electronics, I'm not a huge electronics person, but if you know electronics, you will look at this and tell me, yes, I know what this is. This is what we call a NOT gate. That's N-O-T gate. And it basically is a torch. Yes. A torch is a NOT gate. It's basically a NOT gate is when you have one input, one output. When we'll call input A. When A is on, output's off. And vice versa. That's it. That is your NOT gate. Very, very simple. Let's move on to some harder stuff. So one more thing I wanted to mention about the NOT gate. You can actually make literally any of these logic gates I'm showing to you just out of torches and redstone dust. That's literally all you need. It's kind of a saying or a thing in electronics, I guess, that you can make any logic gate you want with just NOT gates. I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm not a huge electronics person, but I do pick stuff up here and there. So what we've got next, this is what we call an OR gate, OR. And a NOR gate, N-O-R. Now, the reason I put them together is because when you put the N on front of the OR gate, it pretty much means inverted output. That's really all it means. OR gate. OR gate is pretty self-explanatory, as with the next gate we're going to go. OR gate means when either A or B is on, the output is on. So it's very, very easy to make. I didn't even need the repeater here. We can just go dust. And OR gate is literally just two inputs connected by dust to an output, and that's all it is. But the technical name isn't OR gate. So when we turn either of these on, so A is on, output's on. When input B is on, output's on. Both of them are on, output's still on. That's pretty much all there is to it. The NOR gate it's not really that more complicated. All you do is take the output and invert it. So basically, when either one of these is on, the output is now off. So it's the exact opposite to this. So I'm sure you can see that, guys. They are literally opposites. They have exactly different output. So if we put A on here, they'll have opposite outputs. So if the inputs are all the same, they're going to have opposite outputs always. So if we turn them all off, they're going to still have opposite outputs. So there you go. So OR gates, very, very easy. Let's move on to something even more complicated. So the last two gates, they've been pretty basic, but the next gate is actually an extremely useful gate, and it's one I kind of find myself really going back to over and over again, and that is called the AND gate. Now, with the OR gate, we had A or B. When A or B are on, the output is on. So either or, it doesn't matter if both of them are on or one of them is on, the output will be on. This is an AND gate. This is A and B are on, the output is on. So what that means is we can flick this one, the output's not going to change. We can flick this one, same thing. The output is never going to change with just one of these levers on. You have to turn both of them on, and then our output will be on. So that's exactly how an AND gate works. There are a ton of applications for this. I can't think of too many, but a door locking mechanism. I have a very similar thing in my LP. What I have is it's like a little piston door, and basically there's a lever. You have to flick the lever on, and then you can run over the pressure plate and the door will open. If the lever is off, you run over the pressure plate and nothing happens. The door doesn't open. So it's like a locking mechanism for my door, and it makes it more like a secret entrance kind of thing, and it's pretty cool. And yeah, it's just like that. There are a bunch of other applications. Make sure, go find them. If you find yourself needing an AND gate, this is all it looks like. It's just you have two inputs going into a torch, and both of these torches running into the same torch, just like that. And of course, just as with the OR gate and the NOR gate, the NOR gate, we have an AND and a NAND gate. This episode is a bit of a tongue twister for me, actually. That's NAND gate, and yeah, it's just inverted output. As over here, this is inverted output, and basically this is when you can see nothing happens. When both of these are on, the input turns off. So that's all it is. It's just the inverted output, just like that. So it'll only turn off when both of these are on. Now what I've got over the back here is a very, very similar thing. This is actually an AND gate. It is exactly the same. When you turn this one on, output doesn't move. When you turn this one on, output doesn't change. Only when both of them are on is the output on. So this is a perfectly acceptable AND gate, and actually it's a pretty cool one because it's very space efficient. You can build it on a completely flat surface as well, which is very, very handy. So that's pretty much all the three extreme basic gates covered. So let's move on to a more complicated version. Alright guys, so to finish off this short episode, we're going to cover the last of the basic gates, and that is the XOR gate, which you see right in front of you. And you may look at this and feel as if, you know, it looks like a bit of a mess, to be honest. If you don't know what you're looking at, you may be very, very confused, and I totally get that. I know when I was building my first XOR gate, back when I started to do Redstone, I think I tried to build an XOR gate, and it ended up being like huge, like 5 blocks high, 9 blocks wide, or something stupid like that. And yeah, it's a hard gate to get your head around, but I'll try and explain it the best I can. So I'm going to get rid of this top bit first because it helps with the explanation, and we're left with this gate here. Now, this gate is actually one we've already covered. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Try and work it out quickly, but we're going to check the behaviors. So we've got 4 different combinations these levers can be in, and what I mean by that is that we have both of them off, which is 1 combination, this one on, which is 2 combinations, this one on, which is 3 combinations, and both of them on, which is 4 combinations, I guess. So we're going to check all of those. So the first combination is off, both inputs off, output off, okay? Both of them on, output on, okay? Now we're going to turn one of them on, okay, output's on, all right? The other one on, output's on again because they're identical. So what gate is this? Well, as you may have guessed, it is indeed an OR gate. It is exactly the same as we had before. Both of them on, or one of them on, the output will be on. And when both of them are off, obviously the output is off. Now, the XOR gate is a slight modification on the OR gate, and it really only modifies just one of these 4 combinations to make it a totally different gate, and very, very useful gate, in fact, which I'll explain in a sec. So we're going to put the things back in, and this completes the XOR gate here. So that, dust, and torch as such. So what do we have here? We have our output here. It's still off. So yeah, I guess that's good. I guess we turn one of the levers on. The output turns on. Beautiful, just like the OR gate. So we'll turn that off. We'll turn this one on. Yep, exactly the same, just as the OR gate. Now where it's different is if we turn this one on and this one on, it turns off. So this is an extremely, extremely useful gate, and the thing I've most found it useful for is actually doors, which I think I'll explain in a sec. But basically what's happening here is we have the OR gate, but this little bit on top, it feeds off these 2 torches, and basically this torch in the middle here, we turn this back off, it will only turn on when both of these are on, and when it does turn on, it will actually unpower both of these torches. So it kind of overrides the OR gate thing. It just overrides it. So it's kind of, you can see that the OR gate's just here, and this little middle bit here, this torch is overriding whatever these say. So if we go turn both of these on, you can see both of these torches say, I want this dust to be off, but this torch says, no, I'm overriding it, and we're actually turning the output off. So what it actually ends up being is see the levers? See how they're both facing the same direction? The output's off. They're still both facing the same direction, output's off. Only when they're facing, only when they're facing different directions as this, will the output be on. And that is the XOR gate, just like that. Very, very useful gate. And you can build the XNOR gate, I guess, by just putting a torch. We put a torch, I need to grab a redstone map. We can just build an XNOR gate by literally doing this. That's all it does. So basically when they're different, it'll be off, and when they're the same, it'll be on. So that's all there is to it. The most useful thing is if, and let me just build it here. Okay, so I've got my little thing built here, and this is exactly the same as before, except all I've done is move the inputs from over here to over here. So they're still going into the same block. So it's the same gate. And the most useful use I've ever found for the XOR gate is we have our door here, iron door, can't open it with our fist, of course. What we're going to do is turn the lever on, and we can see this goes on, so it can walk through our door. And what we can actually do with the one that's connected to the opposite input, when we turn it on, these both go the same, and the door closes. So the most useful thing is that at any time, you can get in or out of this door. So a T flip-flop, as we covered quite a few episodes ago now, would do exactly the same thing, but it's an XOR gate. It's awesome. And to be honest, if you can't have access to pistons, can't have access to sticky pistons especially, which make T flip-flops very small, this is actually a really, really useful gate to use for your doors. And yeah, it's pretty much the most useful use I've found for it. So it's really cool. And it also helps, like, if you've closed the door on one side, your friend can come over and say, I want to come in. Oh, I can. So it's really cool. And yeah, that pretty much ends this episode, guys. Hopefully it was really short. I kind of have a history of going way too long on episodes, and I apologize when I do, but I at least I haven't gone over 20 minutes in an episode yet, except maybe the first one, which doesn't count as much. But, you know, I hope I keep it short enough. So, as usual, find the world download in the description. Make sure you go check it out if you want to check out these and anything else in this world, of course. And, yeah, apart from that, hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll catch you next week. See you later.